Hey you guys, it's Renee and Maic with the Friedrich Team here at eXp Realty.
And today's question is, what should sellers know about an appraisal?
It's a great question.
I know.
And we have this come up like literally all the time, which is why we decided to bring this question to you guys. So an appraisal, like we all kind of generally know, it's an opinion of value.
And the appraiser is comparing your home to comparable homes.
Right.
In the neighborhood, generally within, if you're in a suburban setting, probably within a mile at the most two. When we're outside of, in the rural areas, I think as far as 5, sometimes 10 miles.
Right, they can go out further, they have more leeway there. Right. And they're also looking for condition though too, you guys. So it's important to make sure that you follow a checklist of things to think about before your house gets appraised. So this is what just came up very recently. We had an appraisal appraiser go out, and our client's water heater was not double strapped, and so we've got to get a handyman out there and get that taken care of because they're out of the area.
Right.
And so they always look for those things. What else do they look for? Smoke
detectors and carbon monoxide detectors. So those are just the cheap ones that are always going to come up, and they're health and safety, and an appraiser actually has to look for those things that they are in place, right?
Yes.
And if they're not there, then there's going to be a reinspection, which takes time, energy, and of course money.
Absolutely, all of those things.
Yeah. But in general, it's not just those things that they're looking for. They're looking at the square footage, right? Similar size square foot, similar number of bedrooms, bathrooms, garages, pool, no pool, things like that.
Yeah, and so they make adjustments to your home based on the comparables that are in the area, and then come up with the condition and value, and then get that back over to the lender.
Yeah, and so what happens if there's a gap, the appraisal gap? And there's good ones and bad ones, right?
Yes, yes.
The good ones are?
Well, I mean, we can try to, if we have multiple offers on a property, which happens pretty frequently, we can try to have a buyer waive an appraisal, which that happens, not all the time. We wish it happened all the time. And then in that case, the buyer would actually have to make up that gap. So let's just use that house that we were talking about as the example. We had the house listed for $500. We ended up getting offers up to $545. Our sellers chose an offer that waived the appraisal altogether at $540. And so we were a little bit worried that there might still be a gap even though they waived it, because that could be a big difference.
Right. And so what happens?
They'd have to pay that money out of pocket.
Exactly.
So if it appraised for $500, their loan amount would have to be based on $500, not $540. And so they'd be coming to the table with an extra $40,000 in essence.
Right. And so it's important, and that's what you have us for, right? When we do check out those offers, that we ask for proof of funds from the buyer.
To make up that gap.
That we can see, okay, do they even have the funds available to? They can say one thing, right, and then not have the money.
Right.
That doesn't help anyone. Right?
Yes, and that one did appraise at value, just by the way, because we are great agents, and we gave the appraiser our comparables, and I don't know that she used them, but it came in.
If you give it to them, they have to.
Okay.
Including the upgrade list. Yeah.
Okay, so we always put together an upgrade list. This house wasn't upgraded, so we didn't have a list to provide.
And if you happen to be an appraiser and something that we say is not correct, feel free to comment.
Yes.
Set us straight, right?
Definitely.
There you go.
We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two, but we definitely don't know everything.
That's right.
We just pretend to sometimes. So the other question that we sometimes get is, should I get an appraisal before I go on the market? And I think the house has to be a really unique and special property to warrant that. You're gonna spend time and money on the appraisal. Some appraisers are booked out, weeks in advance. And it also can be anywhere from $500 to $900 or $1,000 if it's a special rural property. And I just don't think it makes a lot of sense, again, unless it's really unique.
Unless it's unique, or you need it for probate estate stuff.
Yeah.
Or you just want to know, like a ballpark, if it's really hard to price the property out because there is a lack of comparables, right? So you're not surprising yourself.
Right. We do still have low inventory, so sometimes it is hard to get those comparables to really get a good gauge on where we should price the home in the market.
Right, exactly. So I hope this was helpful. We went a lot back and forth this time.
Yeah, we did. Thanks so much for tuning in, you guys. We appreciate you. And if you have any questions, of course, give us a call.
Yeah. And if you happen to watch all the way to the end, email us and maybe we'll send you a $25 Starbucks card. But you only know if you watch to the very end.
Thanks again.
And, last disclaimer, for the first 5 people that send us that email, we're going to send you a Starbucks card.
Thanks, you guys. Bye-bye.
Take care.